You know, I really didn't think I'd be back here talking about another isekai. I thought, The Warrior Returns would give you my fix and then I would be good for like a year. But folks, I found another isekai on Webtoon that piqued my curiosity too much to not talk about. See, most isekai that I've gotten into throw their MCs into an RPG-inspired world, but give them some type of special perk. Whether it be coming back to life after death like in ReZero, or quite literally, gaining access to the plot like an Omni reader. But this webtoon we're about to talk about today chucks their MC into a cruel fantasy world on the hardest difficulty. Simply surviving a day is an accomplishment. And unlike those other MCs who get special abilities, my man gets nothing. Like, imagine if you got thrown into the unforgiving world of Dark Souls. That's this webtoon. So without much further ado, let's talk about surviving the game as a barbarian. And of course, before we continue, thank you, Webtoon, for sponsoring this video. If you want to read this webtoon for yourself for free, you can check it out in the link in the description below. Now, on to the story. So it begins with our main character, Hansu E. Poor dude's been hospitalized for a lot of his life, so to keep himself busy, he plays a lot of video games. However, with time, he talks about how the games that he played just got mad boring. And I want to speak on this, but I'm gonna wait till he cooks some more because there are some things that I gotta say about what he talks about next. Anyway, he goes on to say that, it's not about the genre, it's not about what type of game he's playing, it's just that over time, a lot of the new games that came out just seem mad similar to each other. So on his search, looking for a fire game to play, trying to walk away from the boring regular stuff, he finds something called Dungeon and Stone, which, get this, is a roguelike. Alright, so pause, now I can speak. So I love how there is this whole commentary on games just feeling really similar to each other. I feel like anyone who's been gaming for a while, they also have this feeling at a point where, a lot of the games that came out just felt too similar to each other to the point where nothing drew your attention as much as you would liked it to. Like it happened to me where games just were not keeping my attention as much and I felt like, damn bro, is it because I'm getting older? Do I just not like video games as much? So like Hansu, I went on a search for games that I thought I would like, and I was desperate. I was like, I'm willing to try anything, bro. And then I found this beautiful roguelike game called Hades. And bro, yes, though Hades is still an RPG, the fact that it was a roguelike and every run felt different, it hit so much harder than it had to, bro. Hades truly felt like a breath of fresh air, so when I see Hansu also going on this search and then finding a roguelike and going like, damn, hold up, it's lit, because I could relate to that, bro. It's almost like the author also went through a situation like this. So Hansu starts playing this game called Dungeon and Stone, and unlike the other games that he was playing, it's more retro styled, it's an indie game, and unfortunately, it's only in English. But Hansu's so desperate, he's like, screw it, bro, I'll just translate it as I go. And as he begins playing it, he's not really taking it seriously, He's like, I don't expect this game to really keep my attention that much. But as he gets deeper into it, he starts really liking it to the point where he plays the whole day away. He enjoys it because it has a lot of mechanics that both make it difficult and unique. And the biggest mechanic that screwed him up was when you lost, you had to start the whole run over again, basically like a roguelike. Except in this one, I don't know if you get buffs like you get in regular roguelike, so this is probably on a much harder level. Anyway, homeboy plays this game for 9 years, bro. He tries to find a walkthrough to like help him out, but he finds out that no one has released a walkthrough for it yet, which is hella sus, but he's like, this is inspiring me, bro. I'm gonna be the first person to beat this game. And after those 9 years of nonstop playing, he finally gets to the final dungeon. Doesn't even beat the game yet. Like, this is how hard the game is. So homie's now a grown-ass man, super hyped that he's now at the final gate. But this is when stuff starts getting funny. So a text box comes in saying, hey, do you want to enter the boss room? So of course Hansu's like, I mean, obviously bro, this is what I spent these 9 years doing. And Hansu's going in with a good attitude. He's like, I don't plan on winning right now. I plan on finding out everything I can about the final boss and then using that for my next run. So he's already thinking about this like an actual roguelike gamer. Who knows? You may get to the final boss, but that doesn't mean you're beating the game today. But then the game says, you may be unable to return once you enter the room. So Hansu's still in good spirits. He's like, oh, you trying to test me? Heard you. So once he confirms it, the game says, you have set foot in the abyss. Tutorial level successfully cleared. And homie's like, And what's even stranger, the text is now in Korean. If y'all remember, this shit was speaking in English before. That don't make sense. Then the screen flashes and Han-Soo disappears. Next thing you know, when he wakes up, he's in the middle of some assembly with a bunch of barbarians. Homie's in the front like, "You will now pick up a weapon of your choice." And poor Han-Soo's like, "Weapon? What are you? I'm trying to fight the final boss. Where is my everything?" Then after some time, he realizes that he's a barbarian too. Now, on one side, it's like, oh, this is lit, you know, because before he was in the hospital all the time, so he didn't really have that strong of a body. But now, look at him. He's freaking ripped, bro. And as he's having this realization, the boss is still calling people up. He's calling people up saying, yo, get your weapon and get ready to go to war. And as more people are getting called up, he notices, wait a minute, Dungeon and Stone definitely started like this too. And then the barbarian chief guy mentions a place called Rafdonia, and that's when he finalizes. Han-Soo's like, aw damn, I'm in the game, bro. I don't know what happened, but I'm in the game. But as he peeps, somebody else is also just like, wait a minute, this is definitely Dungeon and Stone. But he says it out loud. Han-Soo was just thinking that shit. And now homie's making it mad hot, bro. He's looking around, he's like, why am I here? I was playing the game, bro. What's going on? And as Han-Soo's still thinking like, hey, yo, this is mad weird, the old man, he pulls up in front of them like, yo, y'all heard me giving my speech. Who was the one speaking without permission? And Han-Soo already got the picture, bro. He's like, life preservation. Was it me, bro? Then the barbarian chief looks at the red-haired dude and it was like, oh, so it was you. And this dumbass is still like, is this Dungeon and Stone, bro? But as he's trying to make sense of the whole situation, tell me how the barbarian dude cuts his head off. He was just trying to figure out where he was, bro. What? And the scariest part about this is that we don't know if you die in the game that you die in real life yet. So is this dude dead? We don't know. So Han-Soo's looking at this headless body like, hey, yo? But he keeps his composure, you know? He's like, that dude messed up by making it hot? That's not about to be me, bro. But then oddly enough, the barbarian man talks about how the guy he killed was possessed by an evil spirit and to ignore everything he said. So on one end, you could be like, oh, they probably just think that like whoever mentions Dungeon and Stone is like involved in witchcraft or whatever, but nah, this makes the leader sus. So homie goes back to the front and continues the ceremony, right? But Han-Soo realizes a bunch of things. First of all, like what we just said, if you know about Dungeon and Stone as a game and you got transported here from playing the game, you are technically possessed by an evil spirit, and if they find out, they will kill you. But there's one problem. He needs to play his role as the barbarian, but he don't know his name. And the whole point of the ceremony is hearing your name get called out and then picking your weapon. So he has no way of knowing when to go up. So homie's shaking like, bro. He tries to open up a game menu, but there is no menu. Like I said in the beginning of the video, he gets nothing. But then the barbarian calls Bjorn and nobody comes up. So homie takes a gamble and is like, please, bro. Please be me. And to find out what happens next and see if Han-Soo survives, say it with me, y'all. You're gonna have to read the webtoon for yourself. Now, I want to stick with just telling you about what happens in chapter 1, but I want to add on to how cruel this world gets by just giving you a few more details of what homie has to deal with. So Rafdonia, right, the city they have to go to, you know, go on these dungeon quests or whatever, apparently they have a tax system in there, and if you don't pay that tax, you go to prison and possibly get executed. So that's one thing. If you don't have bread, you'll get murked. Next up, this game goes crazy with the debuffs. I'll give you an example. Homie got caught in a bear trap and he almost died from bleeding out, which, you know, sounds normal, right? But imagine that, bro. You just started playing a game and the reason why you're about to lose your first run is because you misstepped and the debuff keeps taking away more health from you. And remember, homie is just going off of his game knowledge and has to work his body like he's a regular human being. This is wild. So yeah, if you're looking for a new fantasy to read where the MC gets tossed into a crazy, cruel world, definitely check this out. Not gonna hold you, after reading the title, I did not expect it to be this metal, but I'm enjoying my time reading it so far, so yeah, definitely check it out. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Webtoon and like this video, and check me out on my channel, The Black Mastodonchi. Peace out, fam.